What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, I'm KristiniB. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can be on the lookout for more videos that I'm going to be dropping. I decided today I wanted to go ahead and just do a quick little story time. I'm going to try to make it real quick. I don't want to be sitting here all day. But I have some good stories, and particularly when it comes to like people I thought were my friends. If you can hear noise, sorry, I live in downtown Long Beach, it's loud. But yeah, just follow along with my story if you want to hear it. This particular situation, okay, let me just start off from the very beginning. I went to UCLA, and there I met a friend, and I'm not going to say any names obviously, but I met somebody who I thought was my friend, and we had been through a lot in college together, and we had just grown closer. And it had got to a point where at one point, like, we were almost graduating, and she had, you know, ran into a financial bind. And at this point, I believe it's like the last year I was in school, I was staying at home. I had moved like out of the dorms and everything, so I was like commuting from home or whatever. And so she had run into a financial bind to where she had went on this study abroad program at UCLA, and then when she came back from it, she had a balance, and she needed to pay that balance off, but she didn't have the funds to do so. And so when that happens at UCLA, what they do is they cut off your financial aid. Therefore, she wasn't able to enroll in her classes, so she kind of had to take some time off from school. So at this time, she was living in a 3-bedroom. It was kind of like a condo. It was really big for a 3-bedroom like apartment or whatever, but she was living there. So she had 2 other roommates, and she had her own room. And I suggested, I suggested to move in with her so that she can cut her rent in half, save that other half of her rent, so that she could save up and go back to school. She could have been back to school within 3 months if she was actually saving her money, but she wasn't, of course. So I suggested, I'll go out of my way. I'm living at home for free, by the way. As a friend, I'm like, I'll go out of my way and I'll help you so you can get back to school, so you can graduate, because we're about to graduate, like, we're almost there. So I'll go out of my way, I'll work my ass off while I'm in school to help you pay this rent so you can cut your cost in half or whatever. So, and mind you, at the beginning of the year, we had both discussed going on a study abroad program at the end, like after you can still go on a study abroad program after you graduate. So we decided we were gonna do that, but then she had ran into this financial bind. I was still gonna go on my I was still gonna go on my study abroad program because I still needed to fulfill my language requirements, and going on that program would have fulfilled that entirely. So I'm just like thinking she knows that I'm definitely not gonna be living there while I'm in a whole nother country. I'm not going to be paying rent where I'm not living. And also, the time period that I stayed with her, she could have saved up enough money to go back to school, but she didn't. She was actually late by like $20 and $25 almost every month for her rent, with it split in half, which I don't understand that, because she was paying the full amount by herself before I moved in, whatever. So being the great friend that I am, I sacrificed being at home living for free to help her so she can get her stuff together and go back to school and enroll in her classes and graduate. So it's probably like 2 months it was 2 months before I was leaving I was 1, graduating, and 2, leaving for my study abroad program. So I let her know 2 months ahead of time, like, by the way, in a way, like, don't forget, I'm going on my study abroad program, like, I'm not going to be paying rent, like, while I'm not living there. And she got so mad. And it's crazy because when I first moved in with her, we sat down and we had a talk, saying how if we had a problem, we would sit down and talk about it, and we wouldn't be passive aggressive or anything like that. And lo and behold, she turns around and starts acting very passively aggressive. So she gets mad, I guess, that I'm not going to be paying rent where I'm not laying my head down, and I'm not even in the lease either, mind you. I literally did this out of the kindness of my heart when I did not have to spend a dime of my money when I could have been staying at home for free. So she gets mad. She starts ignoring me. Like, when she comes home from work, she doesn't speak. In the morning when we wake up, we're literally like in her bed right next to mine. No good morning, no nothing. Like, just acting super weird. Like, we discussed that we weren't going to act that way, but she started acting weird. Then, so at the time I had a boyfriend and we were doing long distance. He lived on the East Coast, I lived out here on the West Coast, and I had also met this guy before I got with him. I had met this guy and he was cool. Like, he was super cute. I met this guy and he just, like, he had a lot of potential. Like, honestly, I feel like I don't know, I'm not even gonna say that. Okay, anyways, I met this guy, and so while I'm in my relationship, this guy gets me a Valentine's Day gift. I'm like, okay, cool, like, that's sweet. Like, I never got a Valentine's Day gift. I'm not turning it down. Like, the nigga that I'm with, he not doing that. So at that point I was just like, thanks. Thank you. I mean, if you're doing what you're supposed to do in a relationship, your partner's not gonna have to look elsewhere. And quite frankly, I didn't look, it just happened. And that's what I like, when things just happen. I don't have to ask, I don't have to, you know, let you know how to treat me. You just do it. But so yeah, he got me a Valentine's Day gift or whatever. So okay, my boyfriend, we gonna call him Mike, you know, and then the other one, we gonna call him T. Okay, so Mike is the boyfriend, T is the side nigga. He's not really a side nigga though, because I didn't sleep with him or nothing. But so yeah, mind you, my so-called friend knows about these, like, two guys. She knows, and she can tell. I've showed her a picture of T and Mike, so she can differentiate who's who if she were to see them. So my boyfriend Mike comes from the East Coast, and he like, we spent time together that day, and then at night, of course, like, he slept over, but I didn't want to sleep in the same room with my so-called friend, so we just, like, slept in the living room on the couch together. In the living room we were sleeping, and then the morning comes and she's being, like, super loud in the kitchen again, passive aggressive. Like, she's putting the dishes up before she has to go to work, which is kind of odd. Putting the dishes up, slamming the silverware and stuff. So I get up and I'm like, hey, would you mind, like, keeping it down? And she's like, yeah, I would mind. Mind you, this person is the type of person that will call the police on you if you put your hands on them. Let me just make that a disclaimer, because boy, oh boy, was I tested. Like, I was tested to the fullest. Let me tell you, when I say I have self-control, baby, I have self-control. So I'm like, okay. So then she's like, she goes around me and she goes and taps on my boyfriend while he is asleep. And I'm just like, is this happening right now? Is this really happening? So she taps on him and she's calling him the other guy's name. She's calling him the other guy's name, and she's purposely doing that shit because, remind you, she knows how they look. And on top of that, I hadn't talked about T in a very long time. So it's just like, you know that this is my boyfriend. You know that this is him laying on the couch. She's tapping him, calling him T, when this is Mike laying on the couch. And he's looking like, who the is T? Bruh, I really couldn't believe it. You don't even know what was going through my mind. Like, I wanted to lay her down right then and there. But I was like, this girl is the type that will call the fucking police on you. Excuse my language, because just her previous encounters with different so-called friends that she was friends with and then fell out with while I was around, I just know how she is. So he sits up, he like, who is T? And so then I'm like trying to explain to him while I'm also arguing with this bitch. And I'm like, oh, T is this guy that I met before you, blah blah blah. He just got me a Valentine's Day gift. We haven't done nothing, this, that, and the third. And so I'm doing all this while this girl is like, yeah, okay, so now let me back up. He's sitting there, he's like, who is T? So then she was like, oh, this is not T. She was like, oop, my bad, with a smirk on her face. And she was like, whoever it is, trying to insinuate that I have multiple niggas to my boyfriend. And I'm just like, really, nigga? Like, you really doing this? Okay. So then at this point, I'm standing on the couch, I'm in her face, I'm really holding myself back from punching her, really knocking her out. And she's like, don't touch me, blah blah blah. And I'm just in her face, because at that point that's really all I could do. And so then I'm like, girl, don't sit here and try to make it seem like I got multiple niggas, like you got me messed up. I'm like, bye, get out of here, like goodbye, like bye, get out of my nigga's face, like period. So then after that, she left or whatever. So of course me and my boyfriend, we still stay together after that, but we just like had a talk or whatever. That was that for that day. So then this was like toward the end of May, and I was going to Vegas for Memorial Weekend. So I had made it a point like, oh, I'm just about to move out, I'm not even about to tell her like that I'm moving out, like she gonna have to scramble for the other half of rent, because I don't owe her anything at this point. Like, I already did you a favor, and you have the nerve and the audacity to throw me under the bus to my boyfriend. Like, what? You're not a friend, you were never my friend, you were jealous, something, because that was a joke. Like, I can't even imagine doing that to somebody I considered a friend. I would never do that to somebody. So I had literally packed up all of my shit, almost all my shit, except for like my toothbrush, like the essentials. So I really didn't have nothing there, nothing in the drawers, nothing. And she never noticed. So while I was in Vegas, she texted me like a long message like, oh, I just this girl had the nerve to text me a message talking about damn, I wish I still had the message, but she had the nerve to text me a message talking about, oh, I really love you like a sister, something like that, with the word love in it, insinuating she loved me. I really love you like a sister. I think it's best that you move out at the end of the month. Basically, she gave me like a day or two to move out, so she was like trying to like fuck me over anyways, just giving me like a couple of days heads up that I needed to move out, even though I could just go right back home. So she was like, I don't think it's best that we live together anymore. She basically said something like, oh, if your stuff is not out by the 1st or something like that, it'll be outside, some weird shit like that. So I was like, girl, love, I went in on her. Like, I wish I still had that message. I went in. I was like, you can jump off a cliff for all I care. Like, I already moved more than half of my stuff out. I was already leaving this, that, and that. Like, I went in on her. Like, you are no friend, you are a snake in the grass, just like you were when you tried to steal your ex friend's boyfriend, somebody she had already been with. I was like, you're thirsty, you're this, you're that. I don't care. When you betray me, everything becomes like, girl, I don't care. Like, you can say what you want. She did me bad. So at that point I was like, I don't really care. I'm about to throw everything in your face. I don't care anymore. Like, I don't owe you nothing, period. So I guess she had got mad or whatever, and my mom had went to the house with me to like get all my stuff when I got back from Vegas. But she had got mad, and I was like, I had told her like, don't touch none of my stuff, don't do none of that, because I don't trust you at the end of the day. And of course she got so mad. She packed up all my shit for me, and I was like, thank you. Like, I really didn't feel like doing this, so thank you. Like, she literally packed up all my shit, and I was super happy about that. Like I was like, wow, you really just like, you packed all my stuff for me. You did one thing right. Thank you so much, because all up nice and neat right in the living room for me. So I just went in and got my shit and dipped on off. Haven't heard from her since, and I'm glad. Even if I did hear from her, she wouldn't hear from me ever in life. So yeah, that's my story. Don't ever live with your friends, no matter how close you think you are. Do not do it. That was my second experience living with a friend. Don't ever do it because you think that your relationship won't be tested because you think you're super close. Nah, don't do it. Please don't. It's literally a huge mistake. I will never in life move in with my friends again. I just value our friendship way too much for that. But yeah, that was my story time on how my ex-friend told my main nigga about my side. Okay, don't move with your friends. All right, bye y'all. I wanted to start incorporating this into all of my videos. I want to put a fun fact about myself at the end of all of my videos. So fun fact about me is I prefer dinner over breakfast or lunch. I hate breakfast. That's another fun fact. Y'all get 2 in 1 today. Okay, bye.